Hey y'all, welcome back to Movement Link. So that is a bounding box jump. So today's conversation is, should you bound box jumps? The answer is, I don't know. So let's talk about it though. So we have done videos in the past about barefoot shoes and things like that. And what happened with their whole barefoot revolution is it got crunched hard by these endurance runners that have been running for years and years and years and years and years, 20, 30, 40 years, wearing these super cushioned, high-heeled running shoes. Then they switched over to barefoot shoes and everyone started getting hurt. So should you switch over to barefoot shoes? The answer is, I don't know. But we need to kind of take a lot of things into consideration. So should you be bounding on box jumps? The real answer is you should be able to bound on box jumps. That doesn't necessarily mean that your feet, your Achilles, your ankles, your calves, and everything is ready for bounding for box jumps. So just like your muscles and how we have to develop your muscles over time, we have to develop your connective tissue. And connective tissue takes longer to develop. As we're considering if you should be bounding on box jumps, we need to first make sure that you have proper ankle range of motion. We should be competent in things like single unders. We should be able to control bounding for double unders. We should be able to run, not heel striking. We should be able to run and maintain those solid foot positions as we're running. And if we can do all those things, then box jumps are probably safe for us. But it's something that I take day to day. So I used to just bound every workout no matter what. If it said box jumps, I was bounding. That was young me who dealt with a lot of nagging things all the time. Now I'm much smarter about it. So if I'm going to bound on box jumps, completely depends on how I feel that day. And some days as I'm warming up, it's just not there. And so I'm going to do the jump up, step down, and on days that it is there, I'm going to bound. And I'm just going to know that the pace I'm going to be able to go in the workout is going to be drastically different if I can bound or not. But the forces that we're landing with 2 feet, aren't going to be that much different than the forces we're going to be landing with if we're sprinting. So these are definitely things that we want to work on and build up to, but you got to be really, really smart and make sure take some time to really think about, do your feet feel like they can handle it? What I highly recommend, especially if you've never bounded before, but you see all kind of the advanced CrossFitters bounding and you want to do it so badly, take the approach we take with everything. We don't just max out your back squat. We start you lighter and we see what your technique can handle. We see how you feel the next day and so on, and we build you up. So if you want to work on bounding and you've never done it before, take a ridiculously low, you can build up bumper plates, you can find a really low box, but let's go ridiculously low on the box. Let's develop that arm swing bounding technique. Let's get a workout in. Let's see how your feet feel. Let's see how your Achilles, let's see how everything holds up. See how you feel the next day and the next day. And then let's build it up over time. The mistake, and you can just Google it. Oh man, there's horror stories out there of people rupturing Achilles and breaking their feet and doing all sorts of stuff trying to bound on box jumps. And these are people that haven't developed their connective tissue. They're just not quite ready for it, or they're coming in with a pre-existing injury or mobility restriction that should be stopping them from it. So should you be bounding box jumps? You should be working up to being able to bound box jumps, but really you should be smart and take it on a day-to-day, workout by workout basis if you're going to bound that day or not. And if you're someone interested in developing the bounding box jump, the way you develop it is low, because what we see all the time is when people try and develop the bounding box jump high, they get nervous and they come down and they do these, and that's a hard habit to break as opposed to the actual pop off the ground to bound back up. One last consideration, I would say box jumps are probably the most dangerous thing we do in the gym. It's only because if you jump up and you don't make it, your shin is right here. So you can fall off, you can break fingers, you can gash your shins. So that's even more reason to start with the low box. And then also just know that unlike learning how to squat and do a push-up perfectly, learning how to bound a box jump isn't something that you necessarily have to do, especially depending on what your fitness level is, what your goals are, what your age is, all of these things. It can be fun if you're gonna play around in CrossFit competition. It's definitely something you have to develop over time, but just for the general public, a bounding box jump is not something that you have to develop. It's something that can be fun to develop, and it's something our body should be capable of, but not something that has to be in the mix. Hope that helps. Talk to y'all soon.